Welcome to Graham Kerr's Kitchen. It's really two programs in one. This is a series that appeals to your creative side. Food that is sumptuous stuff. How could that be? This is a program about people who want to eat healthy and reduce calories. Actually, it's about food with an aromatic quality that fills the nose. Oh, sure, but it's also about keeping my arteries clean by reducing fat. But it doesn't mean a thing if the food isn't rich and colorful. Maximize the flavor. Okay, but I must have healthy food that I can cook in minutes. I must minimize the risk. So welcome to Graham Kerr's Kitchen, where we get our heads together just for you. Now, I don't know whether, oh, by the way, welcome. I don't know whether you've actually ever thought about a curry and then said, well, you know, it's a bit too exotic for me. Well, this is something else. This is a curry. This is the basic method for a curry. Show you how to cook rice with it and everything else. And please hang in there with me, because there are some fabulous ideas in this program, okay? It's going to look really quite good on a plate, and it could be served hot or cold depending upon the time of the year, but this time of year just great for a nice hot dish. A turban of rice around the outside with little flecks of green in it. The green's going to be pistachio nuts. I mean, this is going to be the latest sort of yuppie thing, or at least they did have those, and we're bringing them back again. And little flecks of parsley, you know, through it as well as a garnish. Large amount of yellow in the thing, with the pieces of banana and the fresh fruit that are going to this. So this is a fresh fruit curry. And then papaya is going to be thrown into that, and apricots as well. By the time you've fixed it up with a coconut, yes, I can hear you say, but this is the trick, with a coconut-based, gorgeous curry sauce over the top. I mean, it's really eating. It's really neat. All right, ready for it? Okay. It actually gets cooked quite quickly, as you see. Very first thing that I want to do is the rice, and to get the rice done quickly and easily. Look, I tell you what, I have used a long grain rice for years, but the whole concept of a curry is not the way it is with Chinese food. The Chinese foods, their whole point is to get chopsticks and get a lump of rice up on a chopstick like this and eat it. But in this case, it should be separate, fluffy, grainy, and completely separated. And this way always works. It's really a simple concept. You rinse the rice first of all, because rice, when it shakes up in a box together with itself, sort of rubs up a little rice flour in between, and that rice flour can clog rice together. So you rinse that off. And then with water just coming to the boil here, and I've got 2 cups of water there, and a cup of rice. Now, this is fairly niggardly in rice, but if you want another cup of rice in order for 4 people, then that's fine. Just, you know, the calories to go up, but the fat doesn't. Then just a little bit of salt. You'll need about 1/4 of a teaspoonful of salt in there, 1/8 to 1/4. And it should start to boil almost immediately. I'll just shove the lid on that just to help it. And then you time it. From the moment it starts to boil, you just time it for 10 minutes, okay? And in 10 minutes' time, you're doing well. All right, so that's going well. Now, the next thing is this shallot business. Oh, I'll tell you what. One other thing, whilst I'm down this end, I just popped this on just before we started. You see, if you look in here, there are pieces of fruit, and they're bubbling away in the curry sauce. And I'm going to show you how to do all of that. But I just wanted you to know that that is going through 18 minutes of cooking time, and it'll be ready just at the right moment. Okay, here's the shallot. The shallot has a little brown skin, and when you peel the brown skin back, it has a purple underlying skin underneath that. And so this is what it looks like when you've actually peeled it. Neat thing. By the way, when it starts to boil, you can take the lid off that, so that's doing fine. Now here, I just want to cut the shallot into fine pieces. The thing about shallot is, if you are short, you'll really know that you're chopping something. If you're right down on top of it It is really teary stuff. This is the stuff they give to Tom Cruise when you get close-ups on him. This is when people need to tear up a little, you'll really notice it. Now, if it really affects you badly, stick it in the deep freeze for just 10 minutes before you start to chop it. And that just fixes the oils enough to be able to stay out of your eyes. 1/2 teaspoonful, and when you see the fat content of this, I mean, this is like a joke. Just 1/2 teaspoonful. I put just that 1/2 teaspoon in so that to take some of these oils, you see how it's frying there down the bottom there? To take the oils of the shallot and break those open. It's just not right unless you put it all in. Now, I've got another 3 shallots here, about 1/4 pound of shallots. And the reason why shallots are not onions, because it's got a more refined flavor, and we're looking for refinement here because of the fruit. It's not like with beef, you know, it could be stronger. You need to have this lighter. So, just turn that around. One of the things when you're going to do a curry such as this, ginger, it's just fabulous. And I don't know whether you've been popping in to get a root of ginger. This is what a root of ginger looks like. But I get this, and then use the fine holes on an ordinary grater. There are some fancy graters, and there are good reason for that. If you're going to cook it or cut it or grate it a little bit ahead of time, you can get a rather nasty tainting from some kinds of metals, and so they have china ones, and it's a nice thought, but it's not absolutely necessary. I want a tablespoonful of that, and this is about a tablespoonful here. I measure that and just make sure of it. There you go. Yes, that seems to be about a tablespoonful. And pop that down on top with the shallots. And then breathe in. If you've got any sinus problems, this will do away with them. Almost. It gets even better than this. So just pull that back slightly from the heat like this and just start it. Now, I keep the grated ginger root by taking a little fine slice off the top like that, making sure that it's nice and flat and not sort of serrated. And then keep that in a brown paper bag and put that in the fridge. If you wrap it up like this, it really stays instead of get shriveled up. You probably know what they're like when they get shriveled. Looks like me in a bath. Okay, so that's doing well. Now, on top of that, now the ingredients for the curry. We have here, I'll go from this end, poppy seed. And now, please understand me when I say this. Hi. If you want to go ahead with curry powder, go ahead. All right. I don't want you to hold back on that. But this is the ingredients I put together because I wanted to make my own curry powder. And if you want that kind of thing in your life and want, you know, then go for it. Okay. Poppy seed, cloves, cayenne pepper. That's a cayenne chili. Mace, ginger, ground, bay leaf, cardamom seeds, coriander, white pepper for more heat, fenugreek for wonderful flavor, and turmeric for the color. Okay? So I put all of those into this coffee mill here, and just, as I've said it to you before, I know, but you make terrific coffee next time after you use this thing. And just whiz it round, whiz it together. And when you actually listen to it going round, and when it starts going tinkle, 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 like this, then all the pieces have been beaten up. It's a wonderful machine. And then if you see any little pieces of grit still there, you could put it into a pestle and mortar. You see what I mean? I could just see you saying, oh, he's got to be kidding, by the time that I've got through all of these different spices. But, oh, if you get turned on to curry, then you'll need one of these things to be able to get it fine and powdery, so that when you serve the curry, it isn't so gritty between your teeth. There's nothing worse than gritty curry. All right, take the curry powder then, freshly ground. This is full of the bouquets which you get from it. Oh. And then you say, ooh, just imagine. Now, what I'd like to ask you to do is imagine with me 5 minutes of that cooking together and warming together. After 5 minutes, then you put the apricots into the top. Now, these are dried apricots. They haven't been soaked at all. They're just straight dried apricots. Half a cup of that, and 6 tablespoons full of raisins. If you like those kind of things, already you're with me, right? So stir that together over that basic curry warmth that has been created, and the spices haven't been given a chance to be able to break out of themselves. And then, in this case, now you could add water if you like, or you could add a vegetable stock if you want to. But for me, I'm adding 2 full cupfuls of de-alcoholized wine. Now, this happens to be based on a Gewürztraminer grape, which is a wonderful grape. It's a very smooth, warm, kind of sweet grape, and it makes a wonderful combination. So I tell you what, you could use grape juice instead. That would go fine. All right. I'm not much into this alternative business, but these things could be done because I don't want you to miss out on it. So you then start cooking that up, and that's the stage at which you're going to add some rice a little later on. Let me say, not rice, but the fruit. Okay. I think I'm cheating a little bit. That was actually 1.5 minutes short, but just in case you're keeping time. Now, take the water and pour the water and say, oh, he's putting it all down the sink. Not actually, I've got a colander in the sink there. And then just get a little, I keep on forgetting, I've got one of those fancy things that measures it all for you and tells you when to do it. Put a little water in the bottom, about 1 inch of water. Take the rice, pot it on the top, and put the lid then on the top of that. Now, see how dead easy that is. 10 minutes at the boil, and now about 5 minutes at the steam, and it'll be ready, okay? So whilst it's steaming off there, let's go to the supermarket, have a look and see what incredible antics we could get up to there. Over to you. All right, thank you, Graham. Now, when you're in the produce department and round about where the best fruit is, make these kind of decisions in the back of your mind about this one, the things you like. Try and put together something with sweetness and a little acidity as well. How's that? This is an example. Get a pineapple. Now, this is a lovely pineapple. See how golden that is? If you squeeze it just gently, don't let the produce manager see you do this, squeeze it gently there, and just take out one of these aerobic exercise. Oh, well, it is a beautiful one, actually. And you should be able to pluck out quite easily one of the top knots here in order to be able to check its ripeness. Okay, give it a smell too. It should smell very fruity. Now, put that together with a nice-looking mango. Nice, good color there. Nice, gentle touch and press. Here's a nice, almost blemish-free. You always get some blemishes with a papaya, but this is a beautiful-looking one. So that one, I think, would go very nicely together. Perhaps also, since I'm right here, a Granny Smith apple. These are crisp and seem to do much better. With a banana, some figs, maybe some raisins, certainly with pear. That's a very simple cluster, and it's quite a low-cost one. Or if you really want to start getting sort of dramatic, how about a plantain? And here, the nashi, which is a Japanese pear. Rock melon, maybe some dates with that as well. Can you get the general idea? Okay, now we need to spice it. And look, for spicing, the curry business is very important. Come with me, I'll show you the spice department. Oh, strange encounter. Tell you what, when you get here with the herb and spice can, what do? It blows your mind. There's so many varieties. There's a curry powder here. There's another curry powder there. There was another one that I saw back here. Is it in plastic? Is it in glass? Is it in metal? I mean, what do you do? Obviously, if you're going to try experimenting with curry for the first time, the smallest, most inexpensive might be an idea, but you're not really giving it a chance. If you really want to give it a chance, then do this. Go for the whole items. It's amazing how many of these are under C. Cinnamon, cloves, coriander. Here we are, cardamom seeds. I'll give them the list. You know, the cook's doing this at the moment, so that's all right. I'm just the shopper. Think whole spice. Keep them in a cool, dry place, and then mill them at the last moment when you want them. The release of the energy of that food is so wonderful. You know, please give it a go, would you? Just launch out there, all right? Good. Okay, back to Graham now, and he'll show you exactly how this comes together. Over to you, cook. That's me, I'm the cook. Great, okay. And back to the rice, which is now beginning to plump up. It's had about 3.5 minutes go. And over to you remember how we looked at that right off the top and showed you how that was the fruit? Well, now I've got a little bit of banana which goes in at the very end. And those are just placed on the top there. I don't want them to overcook, but I do want them to get mingled and to get to know the rest of the ingredients in there. All right. So, next item that comes up. This is the fruit. Now, the fruit that I've chosen for this particular one is papaya and a Granny Smith apple, a nice pear, and banana. All right, and you've already seen the apricot and the raisins going in. So this is what this all looks like. Now, I've cut that up in such a way so that it's actually nice lumps. I don't want great pieces, but I do want discernible lumps so that they really go well. I'm going to drop all of those down into the curry sauce there, and that's exactly the stage at which I showed you this one at the top. Does that make sense? Good. Okay. Now, when this has had the 18 minutes going, then simply strain that through a little sieve there. And you're straining it to be able to get the sauce, to be able to make the start of the sauce. So just toss that to there. And here we'll take hold of that juice. There's not much of it, you see. But that juice is so important. Put that on the heat, get that heated up. I'll show you what happens to that in just a second. Okay, now, a few dates. Now, these are chopped dates with just a little arrowroot with them to keep them separate. In on top of the rice, and about half a dozen dates. Now, you can put almonds if you like, you know, the flaked almonds, which you can get anywhere. Or these little fellows here. These are the green pistachio nuts. And when you taste those in a rice, you'll say, oh, it's very nice. I love that. You'll get really excited about it. Just toss it around. See how separate those grains of rice are coming? That's perfect. So that's going well. Now, this is on the heat and being heated up. Now, let's have a look at the cornstarch. I'm using cornstarch here rather than arrowroot because obviously this is with a dairy product, and whenever you use dairy product, cornstarch is much better than arrowroot, but the reverse is true for arrowroot when you not have dairy product present. Okay, so that's mixed down. There's a tablespoonful there with just a little bit of that wine, and just pour that, about half of it. I don't want to make it too gloppy, but you'll see how it all sort of gets together. And then just raise the heat underneath that and always cook out the flavor of cornstarch. Cornstarch is not like arrowroot because it's got that little bit of a sort of cloaking business. Now, here is, get this out of the way. Here is 6 tablespoons full of strained yogurt. That's yogurt which has been set up overnight in a little strainer over paper, and it becomes really quite concentrated, non-fat yogurt. Okay, now, 1/4 teaspoonful of a coconut extract. And please, I make a plea with you people who make extract. Get it on the market for us as regular consumers. Bakers have got pure coconut extract, but we have to put up with imitation stuff. And I'm standing here and I'm telling you, no way, you know, please, let's have it out there. The only way you'll get it is with that imitation extract, but use it at the present moment. It won't do you any harm. But it will be great when we get things that are natural. Now, all I'm doing is having thickened that up with that cornstarch stock. Then I've got that as a tiny sauce, and it actually feels like it's coconut. It's got that smell of coconut, yet without all the fat that goes into the coconut. Bring this back here, pop the fruit back on the top, get the sauce and pour that luscious sauce, oh, I tell you, all over the top of that, and just stir that in. Wonderful. Okay. Now, it's a question of delivering it to the plate. Here is the rice, and over here somewhere is a spoon. And we've got here the rice, which is put in a kind of turban on the plate. It has dates and pistachio nuts all around it. Make it nice and tidy. And then scoop this mixture. Look at it, look at it. Can you get your mouth around that? Can you feel it? It is just lovely. Look, dusting of parsley on the top, why not? Just a touch, okay? Let's see what it tastes like, come on. You know, the aroma's coming off the top of this and it smells just like coconut. It's just lovely. And strange, isn't it, when you think it isn't? This, however, this is the classic. This one is a thick, glutinous, marvelous Thai curry coconut stock over fruit. And more or less the same as the dish that I did, but boy, look at some of the difference. You don't really pick up the real difference here in terms of calories, but where you really get it is this. 22 grams of fat, that's enough for a third of the day, down to 3 grams of fat with Minimax. And the percentage of calories from fat, because of that, 49% there, and only 7%, which is really good news. But look at this, cholesterol. This is when you really see it. Only one, actually it's 0.69 of 1 gram is what's in there. And 40 milligrams of sodium, because we're really looking for the taste of this is coming from the sugar, from the fruit, rather than having to, load anything up with sodium. Woo! Spoon and fork stuff, this. And by the way, if you don't want it hot, you can have it ice cold over salad greens. Mm. Mm. Okay. Oh, that's so good. A nice tang. And the curry quantities are in my book, so, you can find those, but do experiment yourself. The ideal springboarding job, okay? Now, once again, when it comes to springboarding, because I really want to get you guys into this one, because the more you create within your own boundaries, especially using herbs and liquids and other ingredients which bring out flavors, I know the more excited you're going to get with food and the more excited your family's going to get as well. Okay, this looks a bit complicated, but I hope I can make it clear. This is the whole business of using bright notes. Now, bright notes are those things which are above the line. Imagine a kind of dotted line in the middle of your brain, and below that are the things that are risky, salts, fats, and sugars. But above that are things that aren't risky at all. They just have wonderful flavors and exciting things that you can do. Some, the essence of the coconut rather than the coconut fat would be a good example. Now, if you're into music in any way, you know that you've got the top notes, the treble, and the bass notes. So think about that when we look at this. And by the way, I've got these all in my book for you so that I've got 10 of them so as examples to be able to show you. All right, imagine now a herb or an herb that you like, which is very refined in flavor, okay? How about this, parsley? All right, so I put down parsley as a +1. But, what's the most pungent herb that you can think of? Really pungent, really going. I think perhaps cilantro. It's quite a strong flavor, and you have to be very careful with it. So I'd put that as a +5, and I'd fill in other herbs in between. How about liquids? Balsamic vinegar. I'd put that as a top one. As a bottom one, I think perhaps tomato juice. Would be quite refined and low. What about ginger as another, root ginger, which we use today, and perhaps on the low one, lemongrass, okay, or even lemon. So it's that sort of thing when you're looking at above-the-line, bright note dishes. And when you've filled in 5 of the things that you like, wouldn't be a bad idea to get a piece of paper now and have a go at it. 5 herbs, 5 liquids, 5 other things. And then you start looking at the dish and saying, well, that's what Graham did, but I'm going to do something different for me and for my family. And I like parsley and I like ginger, and then start mixing the liquids and the herbs and the other things together above the line. When you've got a nice combination, then you can start straining out the fat and the salt and the sugars out of that combination. These are the risks then start going away and the bright notes start taking over. Does that make sense? Because it really is fun. I mean, that's really creative stuff. I do hope you have a go with that. It's great stuff. Okay. Right. Although it may sound hot, it isn't. It's spicy, it's warm, it's fresh, it's fruity, it's fantastic. Do have a go at it, please. Till next time, God bless you.